Hey, thanks for dropping in. By far, the most popular video on this channel is for Bistek, or Filipino steak and onions. It's so popular, in fact, that I've hesitated to post a follow-up because, frankly, I didn't want to jinx it. But seeing as it's now been a couple of years, I'm hoping it might be safe to do so now. So today, we're going to make Bistek Part 2. Even Bistekier. Coming up next. Alright, before we begin, let me just say for all the Filipino food purists out there, I know what we're about to make isn't authentic bistek. In fact, it borrows a few things from Filipino street barbecue. There is some overlap between the two though, so hopefully that'll be okay. So what I've got here is a beautiful piece of beef brisket. Why brisket, you ask? Because it was on special at my supermarket. Plus, I think it'll work pretty well in this recipe. You could just as easily use flank, which I used in the original Bistek video, or even sirloin. Whichever cut you use, throw it into the freezer for about an hour before you work with it. That'll firm it up nicely and make it easier to slice into strips. I'm cutting mine about 1/4 to 1/3 centimeter thick. You could go a little thinner if you want, but this is the thickness I prefer. Also, as you can see, I'm slicing on a bias and against the grain. This will shorten the muscle fibers and hopefully give us a more tender steak. Once we're done with this, we can transfer it to our mixing/marinating bowl, and we're going to add about 2/3 of a can of Sprite, the regular stuff, not diet. This may seem like a weird ingredient, especially if you're not Asian, but it's going to do a couple of things. First, it'll flavor the meat, just a bit, nothing overpowering. And its slight acidity will also act as a tenderizer. Next, we'll add about an equal amount of soy sauce. This is a traditional ingredient in bistek. We're also going to drop in a splash of dark soy. This won't really add any flavor, but it will give a nice dark color. Finally, we'll drop in the garlic cloves that you saw me smashing at the start of the video. We're going to cover this and put it in the fridge for at least 1 hour, up to about 4 or 5 hours. Any longer than that, and we risk getting a little mushy. Okay, we're ready to start the actual cooking. I've got hot oil in my brand new wok, which we're going to break in, and we're going to fry our beef. About half of it for now. We've got a lot of beef. I pulled it out of the marinade about 5 minutes ago, and it's been draining on some paper towels, so it's not super wet. Regardless, I'm expecting that this meat will give off a ton of liquid. It always happens, but we're going to take advantage of it. Alright, our meat is browned and about 3/4 cooked, and as expected, a ton of juice has come out. I'll transfer this to a bowl, including all the liquid, and we'll get to work on a second batch. I refreshed the oil, let's add the meat, and cook it exactly the same as the first time. That's looking good. We're going to pull out the meat again, but this time we're going to leave those juices in the wok. To that, we'll add our onions. In the last bistek video, I used white onions. We're going with red today. No real reason why. We'll let the onions cook and absorb all those beautiful juices the beef left behind. Eventually, the onions will start frying, and they'll turn nice and tender and sweet. It's been about 20 minutes, and our onions are just starting to caramelize. We could take it further than this, but I think this is pretty good. We're going to return the beef to our wok, along with all those delicious juices. We haven't hit this with any pepper yet, so we'll do that now. Personally, I like a lot of black pepper in my bistek. And now, for the spice heads, we'll throw in 1 Thai chili. You can leave this out if you want, or add more, it's up to you. I'll turn the heat down just a scooch while we prepare our sauce. To make it is super easy. We'll start by adding a squeeze of fresh lime to some soy sauce. Next, just a bit of sugar. Bistek isn't supposed to be a sweet dish. The sugar's there to balance out all the salt. Then 1 clove of minced garlic. And that's all there is. Let's give this a taste and see if it's balanced. It should be both salty and bright. Perfect. The last thing we need is a spoonful of cornstarch. This will thicken our sauce just a little bit, so it really coats the meat and onions. Alright, let's go back to the wok. We'll pour in our sauce and stir everything together. That's looking great. Once our sauce thickens up, this can go to the table. I'll see you there. And here it is, Bistek Round 2. Let's make it pretty by sprinkling on that fragrant lime zest. Admittedly, this is more of a riff on Bistek rather than actual authentic Bistek, but still delicious. It has the flavors you expect. Tang from the citrus, salty umami from the soy, a little background of garlic, and of course, sweet onions. Beyond that, the Sprite gave it a little extra something something, and of course, pops of heat from the Thai chili. All in all, I think this is a worthy addition to the Bistek library. Let's do the flyby. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit those like and subscribe buttons before you go. And if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as usual, drop them below. I'll see you next time. Ooh, that's got some kick.